Eunice. That was very interesting stories. So now we have get close to the end of this session, and we have listened to all these very inspiring keynotes that have been covering the range of ways that telecentres impact the lives of people around the world every day. And now we would like to take a few moments to highlight a major program focused on providing new opportunities for women by training them to become digitally literate. Here to share the highlights of the Telecentre Women Initiative, we have Maria Teresa Camba. She is the Director for Operations of Telecentre.org Foundation and Program Manager for Telecentre Women. So let's receive her with a big and warm applause.
Good morning to everyone. Buenos dias a todos. What I'd like to share with you today are the highlights of the Telecentre Women Digital Literacy Campaign, an initiative that has already touched the lives and futures of hundreds of thousands of women all over the world. The campaign was launched during the 3rd Global Forum in Chile, in partnership with the International Telecommunications Union and the regional telecentre networks. Our target was to reach 1 million women, unreached and untouched by ICT and its promise, and help them acquire digital literacy through telecentres and telecentre networks. And with this, new access and skills open up new opportunities for them to grow and become more of what they want to be. I'm pleased to announce that we have made headway. Over 800,000 women have already been trained by 148 campaign partners in 85 countries. Second, we have recognized 100 outstanding telecentre women managers for the amazing work that they do, not only in helping other women, but also in building their communities and contributing to its growth and development. Their stories have been documented, and we are launching today the book entitled Outstanding Telecentre Women Managers, 100 Stories. 3 of the women are here with us this morning, and I'd like to request Olga of Russia, Deepika of Sri Lanka, and Rasha of Egypt to stand up and be recognized. The global telecentre community is grateful for women like you. Next, our partners are growing in number, but there can never be too many of them. Today, we announce a new set of partners. World Pulse, for building the capability of community journalists, Change Corp, for promoting mobile learning programs through the Smart Woman Project, and our networks in Spain, Pontic of Catalonia, which has just committed to train 25,000 women this year, and Guadalinfo of Andalusia, committed to train 40,000 women this year. So with all of us working together, I'm sure we can reach our goal, not only reach it, but even surpass it. Lastly, we are also pleased to announce that we have a new champion for digital literacy and inclusion. The First Lady of El Salvador, Wanda Pignatu, accepted our joint invitation with ITU to champion our campaign. At this point, I'd like to call on another champion for women in ICT, the Senior Advisor for Women and Technology of the Secretary's Office of Global Women's Issues of the U.S. State Department, Ms. Mei Chang. Let's all welcome her. Thank you. No, okay.
So you've all probably know about the digital divide that has been talked about very widely that leaves many developing countries without the access to modern tools, technology, and services which are necessary to propel their growth. But what you may not have heard about yet is that there's a similar and equally disturbing digital divide when it comes to internet access between men and women. And this runs a similar risk of leaving women further and further behind as the internet becomes a more and more critical tool in our modern lives. A new study by Intel and Dahlberg that was just released in January found that in aggregate in developing countries, women were 23% less likely to have access to the internet. And this doesn't tell the whole story because that's an aggregate number. And if we look at areas such as sub-Saharan Africa, the numbers are even worse. In sub-Saharan Africa, women are 43% less likely to have access to the internet. And so to put that in perspective, that's almost twice as many men in Africa using the internet than women. And certainly that puts women at a significant disadvantage. The good news is that the world is starting to take notice. In March, the UN Broadband Commission set a fifth new target for the Commission, specifically around bridging this gender gap, which states that aims for gender equality in access to broadband by 2020. So the U.S. State Department and USAID have also made access to ICTs by women a high priority. In October 2010, Secretary Hillary Clinton launched the groundbreaking M-Women program, which seeks to bridge the gender divide in access to internet between access to mobile phones between men and women. Programs such as the Alliance for Affordable Internet and USAID's Global Broadband Initiative seek to address the supply side of this issue by expanding coverage to more people in more communities, as well as lowering access costs so more people can afford them. Other programs seek to grow the demand side of the equation by providing more services that are relevant to women's lives and will improve women's lives. Some examples of these are Mobile Mama, the M-Education Alliance, and Better Than Cash. I hope you'll join me this afternoon at 3 o'clock in the Empowering Women's session, where we'll talk more about these and other programs. Of course, telecenters can play a significant role in bridging the gender gap as well. Tessa talked about the Telecenter Women Program, which is a fantastic program that addresses several of the barriers for women to access ICTs. Many times we hear that women may be afraid of some of the new technologies, that they may just not be familiar with them, not realize some of the value that they can bring. And programs like Telecenter Women really help women both overcome their fears, learn basic use of some of these technologies, as well as learn about some of the tools and services that are out there that can really make a difference in their lives. But even for women who are comfortable with the internet and know the value that it can bring to their lives, access often still remains a barrier due to cost, coverage, or cultural issues. Telecenters can help here as well, particularly when they're designed to create a safe space for women to gather. We've seen some great successes where telecenters are set up alongside of other critical services that women value, such as health centers or marketplaces. Another great practice is setting aside hours that are exclusively for women's use, which can be helpful in regions where it may be uncomfortable for men and women to mix. Of course, the shared model of telecenters can also help bridge the affordability and coverage gap, because this aggregate demand allows telecenters to bring in faster internet access at lower prices when it's shared among so many. So, by increasing access to the internet for women, what we can do is that we can empower women around the globe to improve their education, to find jobs, to grow their networks, to access new markets, to increase the efficiency of their businesses, to drive innovations, and just access a whole new world of information. So I hope that over the next 2 days, as we go through all these fantastic sessions and learn about the fabulous services that telecentres can offer, that you will keep in mind the whole time sort of how we can make sure that all of these services benefit not only all the men and boys in the world, but also equally all the women and girls. Thank you very much.